Okay, how about 2 out of 3?
Ugh, you always say that when you lose.
Yeah, because I lose every time.
Look, if you want to change how we decide which one of us cleans the popcorn machine, that's fine with me. But rock, paper, scissors was your idea.
That's okay. I think I'm finally due for a hot streak.
Welcome to Rewind Video. I'm Bob.
I'm Rob.
And we love movies. Good ones, bad ones, old ones, new ones, movies you're fortunate to see, films you might wish you hadn't, and everything
Just
in
happy to be
between.
watching movies.
Yeah, right? So, I'm curious, did you get the email about how we're raffling off the stack of cardboard cutouts in the storage
skimmed it.
closet? Yeah. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm a little disappointed. Disappointed is maybe the wrong term. So the gist is customers can pay, what, $5 a ticket
Yes.
to have the chance to win the cutout of their choice if their number is called. But there's a bunch in there that I wish we weren't going to part with.
There's only so much room in the office.
I know. But, you know, the Harry Spencer cutout or the Henry Spencer cutout from Eraserhead deserves to be back out on the floor. The Mandy cutout, the Cocaine Bear.
Yeah. People love the cocaine bear.
They do
Brings
love
in customers.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just the idea that somebody gets to take one of these home because they're lucky enough to have their number called just doesn't sit right with me.
Well, maybe you should buy some tickets.
That's possibly the solution. If nothing else, I do wish we had at least one Travolta cutout as opposed to like the large Russ cutout.
Yeah, well, the problem is anytime we get a Travolta cutout and put it on the floor, it disappears.
It's gone.
We have somebody in the neighborhood that is obsessed with John Travolta. And
How I wish I knew which membership I could tear up. Of course, we should probably focus on what matters this week. As listeners know, you and I are tasked with stocking the staff recommendation shelf here at Rewind Video. Each time we rotate in new movies, we adhere to a theme. And this week's theme, as luck would have it, is luck.
yeah, everything's coming up Millhouse tonight.
So I don't know about you, but I spent a little bit of time pondering this because, you know, there's luck and there's coincidence.
Yeah.
And they're not the same.
Magic.
Magic is definitely something. And I tried to steer clear of coincidence, but it's definitely present in some of my movies. However, there's a definite luck role as well that I'm going to call attention to, and I'm certain of that.
It would have been easy just to choose all gambling movies, I guess.
100%.
I mean, what is luck? Does it even exist? Is it
a real thing?
Yeah, and I actually think gambling addresses it most head on, because if you gamble on things, it seems like luck exists, right? Like it's this force that like can cause things to happen, and in that sense, it does not exist.
No,
but luck does exist in the sense that like, yeah, you can lose 10 times in a row. You know, you can flip a coin and lose a bet on that 10 times in a row.
Yeah,
it's not because luck made it happen, but if you lose every time, then you're unlucky.
Yes.
So it is real in that sense, even though luck isn't what caused the coin to land on tails every time.
No, and it's certainly not something that can be leveraged intentionally, which one of our movies tonight definitely suggests that it can be, and I take issue with that, but it is also one of my picks. Yeah. So
actually, I think more than one of our movies kind of deals with that.
Interesting.
If you mean like leveraging luck in the sense that like, yeah, I'm just gonna like, it's like luck is on my side right now.
Yeah.
You know, which also is like just not a thing.
No,
it's just not a thing.
Yeah, that imaginary.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to begin talking about these picks. We have some good ones, and your first one is one that I'm especially excited to discuss.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
Well, it's a brand new movie. It came out in 2025. It's called Final Destination Bloodlines. This is filed under Dying the Dream. Back of the box. Plagued by a violent recurring nightmare, college student Stephanie heads home to track down the one person who might be able to break the cycle and save her family from the grisly demise that inevitably awaits them all.
It's coming.
Yeah, it's coming. I mean, I guess maybe not grisly, but it is coming for everybody.
Right.
You can't stop it.
No, you can't.
Tagline, I like this one. Death runs in the family. It's phenomenal.
Yes.
That's how you do it.
That's terrific. Horror movies often get this very right.
I think so. I think because like maybe this isn't exactly what I mean when I say it, but I mean like I feel like horror movies when they're doing taglines and even just like making the movie are kind of dumbing stuff down.
Yeah.
Which makes for better taglines.
It does.
You know?
Yeah.
They're just like what do we put on the front of the box of cereal, you know?
Right.
Death runs in the family. So this is the 6th and most recent installment of the Final Destination franchise. The first one came out in 2000s, and to me, this has always been like the most aughts-coded horror franchise.
Yeah.
Maybe Saw is the other one. I'm trying to think what else.
Yeah,
but like, I don't know, just when I think of horror movies of this era.
Maybe Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, maybe. I think those come a little bit later. I don't know. But
quite possibly.
But yeah, the 90s was like, you know, the Scream era. It was defined by this like postmodern take on the genre. And, you know, horror at that point had been like left for dead. And so we went through the Scream era for a few years. And then like by the time we get around to Final Destination in the year 2000, we were kind of shaking off the irony and we're getting back to like programmatic slasher movies.
Yes.
And the original Final Destination was famously an X-Files spec script that got turned into a feature. And you can kind of see some of the DNA there. There's like the 2 FBI agents.
I did not know that, but I can believe it. Yeah, of course. It makes sense.
Yeah, and I'm sure there was plenty of changes, but I think it became successful, the first movie and then like the franchise as a whole, because it's like this simple deliverable concept. Right? It's, you know, we'll get back to the actual premise, but as far as the concept, it's like, all right, people are supposed to die because they escaped death somehow. And so death comes for them one by one. So this is just like a slasher movie with death as a concept as the bad guy. And, you know, the calling card of the series really has become, you know, each death being this very contrived Rube Goldbergian series of events that lead to this like horrible death.
And I think it's fair to say there's a lot of misdirects. Mm-hmm. You think that something is going to kill a person, and oops, nope.
You see a knife sticking a weird way, you're like, oh, that's going to be it. And that's not usually it. And also, a lot of them take place in places that are like everyday situations or places that we go to all the time.
You
like
expect to be safe.
Doctor's office, tanning bed, escalator, whatever. Like all these things, you're like, yeah, these are the things I encounter in daily life. Right. And when the filmmakers are making the Final Destination movies, they're getting in a room, they're going like, all right, like what do we got? Like what are the deaths?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because like, you know, no matter what else you think of the Final Destination movies, like they deliver on the graphic, violent, inventive kills, you know, like every kill is like, oh, I've never seen that before. Like I've never seen it quite that way, or the way they sold it is different, you know?
Right.
And that's what the series is about. It's also about the idea of death is like, I don't know, kind of a drama queen. It's like, you know, like you're being dramatic about these things because of what, you know? But the actual like premise, so like the premise of the movie is just absurd.
Yes.
Because, I mean, forget the idea that death is a character with agency, which you kind of have to believe, or that like they all have to die dramatically and, you know, they're chosen to die in a certain order, which why would that matter? Or that death itself is so concerned with the circumstances of everybody's death that like they have to be obsessed with these specific people.
Yeah.
Like meanwhile, like 170,000 people a day die on Earth. Like why is death worried about these fuckers? Because they stepped off an airplane. You know what I mean? Forget all that.
Yeah.
Forget all that. The idea that there are like somehow steps you can take to avoid death in the first place is just like so preposterous. Right?
Yeah.
Like, over the course of the series, in 6 movies, you hear many times characters will say something to the effect of like, "Well, now we're safe from death." It's like, no, you're literally
always there.
You're literally not. Like it's the only thing that's guaranteed in life is that it ends.
Yeah,
and like it's in the title of the movie. It's everybody's final destination.
Yeah.
So like, I don't like. What did you? I guess like theoretically, like you could say that we escaped it for now, which is that's all you did the first time too. Like you escaped it for now, but it's coming.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And even like the first time is a ridiculous concept. How many times have you not died? You know, like so many times.
Right.
You've not died infinite amount of times in your life.
Yes.
We all have.
Yeah.
And so like
quite a streak going.
Yeah. And so like I guess like they were lucky to avoid it the first time and then unlucky to die violently the next time, I guess. That's how luck is a part of this. But also I think just like any kind of accidental death, you could kind of chalk up to luck, right? Like, and I think that's kind of what we were talking about. Like, what is luck? Because every car accident that someone dies, you can say like, well, if they had been 30 seconds behind schedule, none of this would have happened, right? So they're unlucky. But is it luck or is it just like shit happens, you know?
Yeah.
But like every single death in the series, it's like it's like a hit by a bus. Like, okay, there was a bus there before, but like how many times did you not get hit by a bus? Slip and fall on something. Like what had to happen to make whatever you slipped on be on the floor or whatever?
Right.
Who put the banana peel there? Where'd they buy the banana?
Right.
You know, like you can parse every single thing and come up with like, well, this never would have happened if like this guy hadn't done that or what, you know, like all this stuff. You can do that as much as you want. And so like in some sense, every accidental death is the result of luck, right?
Yes, that is fair. It sounds like you didn't like this movie.
Well, for me, I did like it.
Okay.
But for me, all the Final Destinations are basically like 3-star popcorn slashers, right? Like they're satisfying for what they are, but they're not to me like a whole lot more than that. Like I am in it for the death set pieces.
Yes.
You know, I don't care about the story.
Yeah.
I don't get, like is there a story? I don't know. I guess.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely more lore introduced
this
in this one. Yes. They aren't concerned with that hardly at all in the other ones.
Well, most of them are about 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And yeah, they have very little story holding them together, and then like a little piece that connects it to the larger franchise.
Yeah.
But this is the only one that like does that 2020s Lego sequel thing.
Sure.
Where it's like 20 minutes extra. It's like 110 minutes.
Yeah.
And then like, but also like they have to like fill it with all this backstory.
And I got to bring back old characters.
And Bloodlines, and because like nowadays everything has to like capital letters mean something, you know? I'm not exactly sure what that's about, but like that's for some reason, instead of just going like, let's just make a new Final Destination movies, they have to go like, well, but how do we like make the universe important? It's like, well, nobody actually cares about that.
No, and I'm sure it has something to do with the studios thinking, well, this will get them to rewatch all of the other ones so that this new one makes sense. But like, does it? No. I mean, it doesn't like. But like, I didn't like dislike the backstory stuff. You know, it was just a little bit different than the other movies in the series. But like, it delivers on the Final Destination kills, and as far as like, if you haven't checked out this franchise yet, this isn't the worst place to start. You know? No, it's not. There are definitely some hilariously bad entries in this franchise. Well, yeah, I mean, the only one I think is like I would classify as hilariously bad is number 4. Yeah. Where it's like it's borderline Sharknado. Yeah. But I don't know, man. I think that's part of the charm, right? Like it's like number 4 is also the funniest because it's like so like stupid, and that also is like that's like very CGI heavy. That was in a bad era of CGI. Yeah, and this movie didn't have a tremendous budget to begin with. Right. That one didn't. Right. Yeah. So, but again, like I can rank them all, but like to me, they're all pretty much just like the 3-star slasher movies. Well, before you finish, I am curious. Are you willing to offer up your favorite death from the franchise?
Oh God, I couldn't pick one from the franchise. I haven't studied it that in depth. But
Right.
It sounds like you have one.
I have two that I'm waffling between, and I won't tell people what movies they're from so that you can kind of go in blind. Yeah. But the gymnastics accident.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty tremendous. And then the MRI machine.
Oh yeah.
Quite good.
Yes. Yeah. That is probably I don't know. We can say it. It's probably the best one in this movie.
Yeah, oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would say so.
Yeah.
I hope I didn't ruin it for you, but
No.
it's worth watching.
You're gonna see people die in these movies. One time.
Almost that's the thing.
Yeah.
Almost every character you encounter in these movies is gonna die.
Yeah.
Before the end of it. And
And it's gonna be entertaining.
that's the beauty of it.
Right. Yes.
So, Final Destination Bloodlines, it is at 3.2 overall in Letterboxd. 1,500 people have it in their 4 favorites. And 25% agree with my 3-star rating, including Celso, who wrote, "It's always fun to see unlucky people die in bizarre ways. And I laughed when the child was crushed by a piano." So I'm putting Final Destination's Bloodlines on the staff recommendation shelf this week to get us started on the topic of luck.
This is a great one.
Yeah.
I love when I don't bring a horror movie to the shelf.
It is nice, because usually the horror movies you bring are sad.
Yeah, a bit of a slog or disturbing, not
Yeah.
scary, but more disturbing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I like to see characters die, but not necessarily eaten.
Right. Well, but maybe that'll change for you. Maybe you need more.
I'm working on it.
All right. Well, I'm going to 2014 with my first pick for our luck theme. And I think people familiar with this are going to be like, "There's no luck in this." But I can
You're gonna make the case?
I can prove otherwise. So this is from the Practice Makes More Practice section of the store, and my first pick is Edge of Tomorrow.
Nice.
So, back of the box here. Major Bill Cage is an officer who has never seen a day of combat when he is unceremoniously demoted and dropped into combat. Cage is killed within minutes, managing to take an alpha alien down with him. He awakens back at the beginning of the same day and is forced to fight and die again and again, as physical contact with the alien has thrown him into a time loop. Tagline for this is Live, Die, Repeat, which Warner Brothers ended up actually making into the title of the movie.
Yeah,
after they couldn't market it well.
they made a whole mess of it. They tried to
Yeah.
pretend like the title was the reason people didn't like this movie. I have my own theory. But
Okay.
maybe we can get into
We'll
that
get
in a
into
minute.
that. Yeah. So this is Doug Liman, and it's a science fiction action film with blending some battlefield spectacle with what I think is some rather smart storytelling. Tom Cruise is here, is kind of subverting his typical heroic persona by playing a rather unlikable, cowardly spin doctor kind of character.
Yeah.
And he evolves through repeated countless deaths into someone you're actually rooting for. Emily Blunt is also here. She plays a soldier, and there's some dark humor here. There's some, I think, very tight pacing, and this worked for me for a lot of reasons. But how does it fit the theme? So I could see a lot of people saying, well, no. The things that transpire once the movie unfolds, where he's able to, help himself get off the beach and avoid these aliens, is not luck; it's rehearsal. And yes,
he's practicing.
He's practicing every time he dies. But the fact that he earned this ability is based on pure chance. I mean, he happened to be in the right place at the right time.
He was the one
with
killed
right
by
alien.
the one thing. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's not earned. It's definitely bestowed on him. It's it's not merit through skill. That's luck. Kind of kicks this off. It's the movie's engine, I think. And then from there, yes, we do get a lot of training, repetition, memory, and incremental improvement, but none of that exists without the fluke that occurred at the beginning. So when Tom Cruise signed on for this, he was kind of at the beginning of reshaping his career. This was right around the time of, I think, just after Mission Impossible 3. So he hadn't really turned into that bona fide, every movie I make is a blockbuster kind of guy that he is now. And he was still taking...
He's reshaped his career several times.
Yeah, several times. But he was taking some riskier parts around this time.
He was trying to see what like his next stage was going to be. He was throwing a lot of stuff at the wall.
Right, because we got like Minority Report and Oblivion, and this was right there among them within a few years.
And then he was like, I'm just going to make Mission Impossible for the rest of my career.
yeah. And then maybe a Top Gun sequel.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is really kind of the last time we see Tom Cruise play somebody who's like pathetic and unlikable, at least for a portion of the movie.
Well, I mean, compared to other Tom Cruise characters.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And yeah, I think Tom Cruise is great when he does that, or at least he was. There was a time when that was not so out of the ordinary for him. This is based on some source material. It's a graphic novel called All You Need Is Kill, which is a much better name than both Edge of Tomorrow and Live, Die, Repeat. I don't know why they didn't move away from that. That's definitely darker, more existential on the page. There's a lot of stuff there that's different from the movie and would have given us a bleaker, perhaps better movie.
Maybe.
Yeah. Couple. I could talk about this a lot, but I'll just a couple quick tidbits before we get into why I chose this. This was a notoriously difficult shoot. Lot of rewrites. It was this movie where Tom Cruise and Christopher McQuarrie kind of forged the relationship that would become like a partnership. McQuarrie came in and helped rewrite the script, and they had already worked together in Valkyrie, but it was here that they cemented like a friendship. Like, you can do to a movie what I need done in order to, be the Tom Cruise that everybody wants to see. So yeah,
probably not a friendship though, since Tom Cruise is half of that relationship.
No friends, so why did I choose this? I really think this is one of the better, if not one of my favorite time loop movies that exist. And there are several of them. I mean, we've got Groundhog Day, Palm Springs, Source Code, but for me, this never gets repetitive. It doesn't drag. I think it uses its mechanic to deepen character rather than just replay gags. And yeah, I mean, I think that just when you think you might start to get tired of what they're doing, it moves on at just the right moment. Right. And the repetition ends up staying fresh. We got a pretty well realized world here, and the action sequences are really good. So I actually took a cue from you, Rob.
Really?
Yeah. And
about time.
Right. After seeing this movie probably a dozen times, I've bumped it up to 5 stars.
Nice.
Yeah, it does everything for me that a 5-star movie should do. So
that's all it needs to do.
I'm happy to have it.
That's fantastic.
Curious what you think.
I have it at 4.
Okay.
I like this movie a lot. I do think my theory on why it wasn't successful and why people didn't like it that much at first is because I think, the studio was like, oh, the title is too confusing, which it isn't.
No.
Or that the title doesn't tell you what's happening in the movie, or that like the premise of the movie itself is too confusing. Because it is like, I don't know, it is a sci-fi premise, and I guess theoretically it could be confusing. I don't think it is.
I think it is, yeah.
I think the reason people didn't like this movie is actually a reason that I found it kind of discombobulating the first couple times I saw it, even though I liked it.
Yeah,
is because at the beginning when he's sent what's the actor's name? Brendan Gleeson tells Tom Cruise he's being sent to the front lines, and Tom Cruise is like, no, I don't belong there. He's like, where you're going. We never really let in on why any of that is happening, really.
Right.
Or anything that like follows that in like the quote real world or whatever, and like the regular timeline, and it doesn't connect with the rest of the story, but it makes it seem like it is, and so it's just confusing. And so I think people just were like, I don't understand what's happening, because like you don't, like you literally don't, and then like once you just have to like. Once you realize it doesn't matter because this actually isn't connected to the rest of the story, but even though it's not connected, it still doesn't make any sense. You're like, why did he do that? Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Like, why is he trying to get this guy killed on purpose, it seems like? And we never find out.
It is totally blind. I mean, we have no idea. And it's connected to something that I do like about this, which is that the movie wastes no time whatsoever with any exposition.
Right.
We're dropped in. We don't know anything about where these fucking monsters came from. We don't know why he's being sent to the front lines.
But I think if you resolve that problem in the first 20 minutes of the movie,
it doesn't hurt.
It doesn't seem confusing at all. Because like what's actually happening in the movie, it's like there's a lot of stuff going on, but it's not confusing. You know, it's just anybody who's played a video game understands what's happening.
Right. It would take a line of dialogue from Brendan Gleeson's character to at least help us know why.
Yeah, to be like, hey, I need you there because this is the reason. He's just like, fuck you. Tom Cruise is like, you're sending me to certain death, and Brendan Gleeson's just like, I don't fucking care. It's like, what are we talking about here? What is happening? And so I just think audiences are just like couldn't square that circle.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Yeah, you have this a little bit lower than me, but I'm glad we both like it. It just works. There's a lot about it that works. It's funny. Yeah. If I could cite one knock against it, I don't think we need a kiss in this movie, and we get one.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah. So this underperformed in the U.S., became a hit internationally and on home video streaming. It averages a 3.8 on Letterboxd. Like I said, I have this at 5 stars and you at 4, so we're a little above the average. I did pluck a 5-star review from Lucy Ellman, which I enjoyed. She said, sometimes you need to throw on a perfect movie at 2 p.m. on a Monday. And
that is true.
It's a great time to watch this. Yeah. So Edge of Tomorrow, Live, Die, Repeat, whatever you want to call it, going on the shelf as my first pick for luck.
It's Edge of Tomorrow.
It's Edge of Tomorrow.
Don't fall into the Live, Die, Repeat trap.
I agree.
It's a tagline. It's a good tagline.
It's a great tagline. Yeah. Edge of Tomorrow. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how we have it shelved here at the store.
Yeah, because we're fucking professionals.
That's right. Okay. All right, I'm going to take us to 1989. The movie is called Let It Ride.
Oh, boy.
This is filed under Fortune Cookie Success Stories. Here's the back of the box. An average kind of guy who has a slight problem with gambling goes to the track, and mystically, it seems as though he can't lose, no matter how he bets. And he has an incredible day.
What's not to like?
Tagline, everyone in the world deserves a day like this.
Great tagline.
Great tagline.
Yeah, great tagline. That's how it should be.
Yes. So, Let It Ride. It is a gambling comedy starring Richard Dreyfuss as I would say, degenerate gambler.
Yes.
A cab driver who spends a lot of his time at the horse track. And one day, he, through his friend, hears a tip about an upcoming race. And so he uses this as a pretext to go and gamble. And so he, as he tells his buddy David Johansen, it's not gambling, it's a business opportunity, which is exactly what a gambling addict would say.
Yes.
And he wins this bet, the $50 bet. And instead of just collecting his winnings and going home, he decides to let it ride and gamble some more.
As degenerate gamblers do.
Yes. But then he continues to win, and that causes him to let it ride even more. He just lets the whole thing ride until finally, by the end of the day, he's turned this $50 bet into hundreds of thousands of dollars that he has riding on the last race of the day. So I think this fits pretty squarely in the theme of luck. The ethos of the movie is in the fortune cookie in the first scene, and it says, sometimes you could be walking around lucky and not know it. And the Richard Dreyfuss character is just like, fuck, today could be my day, Any day could be my day, so like I've got to do it. Yeah. And he lives a gambler's life. You know, he hangs out in gamblers' bars. They talk about gambling all day long. Like, oh, who you got in this race? Who you got in that race? Oh, this guy yesterday. Yeah, oh, fuck him. And, you know, just like it's just a gambling community that loves what they do, which is mostly just lose money on gambling, on horse races.
Right.
But gamblers live and die by luck, especially bad ones.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
You know, a lot of people think of professional gambling as like something that like somebody gets really good at, right? Like sports gambling is something you can theoretically make money at professionally. And some people do.
Yeah. I would say even blackjack. If you play by, you know, a certain code and never deviate from that, your odds are better.
Your odds are better, but the odds are still in the favor of the house.
Yes.
I would say like professional gamblers, you don't have too many options like sports gambling because you can find weaknesses in the point spreads and stuff. But the thing about professional gambling, obviously poker is kind of the same thing, although you could say that's a skill game. But the thing about professional gambling is it mostly comes down to money management. It's not about picking the right horse every time, right?
Yes.
It's about having a bankroll that allows you to place lots of bets in a way that gives you better odds because of where and how you're placing those bets, right? Mm-hmm. Or how big they are, depending on certain factors. And so it always comes down to money management. But like gamblers, people who like bet away all their money, they are trying to use luck, right? Like they're gambling on luck, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh,
this time, it's gonna work.
This time, like, you know, even though we know, like we said, doesn't really exist, and to what extent it does, it's probably working against them. But Richard Dreyfuss in this movie, he's just on a legendary heater. That's all that's happening. Like, but his first bet isn't luck; it's cheating. You know, he gets a tip. That's basically like an inside tip on this horse. So the odds are like whatever. But even then it's still kind of luck because, you know, inside info can only get you so far.
Yeah.
And the race was won by a nose. And so like if there's one misstep by that horse loses and he loses his $50. And, you know, so even winning by cheating was lucky for this guy.
Yes.
And then luck intervenes a few times for him. Because it keeps him from making bad bets that he was going to lose, you know? So even that's lucky for him. And so this guy is just like, he's lucky in every sense of the word for like just an entire day.
Yes.
And that's just kind of what the movie is, you know?
Yeah.
So I think this is a pretty good example of a certain kind of 80s comedy, you know? It's just like the story's kind of shaggy. A lot of stuff just like straight up doesn't make sense or is extremely silly. The stakes are pretty low, especially to start. Like he's betting $50, which in 1980 was like, you know, the equivalent of like $120 today or something.
Right.
Like it's not like it's $100. It's not a fortune. Even like at one point he'd been winning a bunch of money and like he had $710, which again, like, I don't know, what's that worth? Like $2,000 today? Like that's some money, but you know, he's talking about it like, I'm fucking rich, dude. Like I got to retire. I got $2,000. But you know, like these movies are like, there's just venues for wacky jokes and character moments.
Yes.
And we're really just following this guy who's having an incredible day. We're riding in the good vibes, which actually is the name of the book that this is based on.
Really?
Good vibes.
Good vibes.
Good vibes. But, you know, maybe it doesn't have the best message because it makes gambling seem awesome.
Oh, it sure does.
Right?
But a lot of gambling movies do. I mean, how much did you want to play cards after watching Rounders?
Oh, a lot. But at least you see the downsides. You saw people have their lives ruined, and I guess like in the periphery of this movie, you see that, and you know what's happening.
Yeah.
But like this guy on this day, everything goes right for him, and it's fucking awesome.
It is great.
Yes,
yes,
so good. I love movies that take us inside subcultures, you know, and like we get tons of like gamblers lingo, the lifestyle, a lot of gamblers sayings, you know, that they say to each other, you know. At one point, Richard Dreyfuss says to his wife, like, "I'm not gambling, I'm winning." And it's like, okay, buddy. And then every gambler has a system, like each one's sadder than the last, you know, which are just complicated ways of losing your money, and they're all based on the assumption like I'm due, like if like eventually I'm gonna win, right?
Right, it's got to turn
because like that's the way luck works.
Yeah.
And also like I saw somebody on Letterboxd say about this something to the effect of, you know, the only character development in this movie was Jennifer Tilly's cleavage, and I was like, yeah, that's not wrong. Like, there's no character development here, and there's lots of cleavage, and you know what? Like, that's fine. Like, I'm not here for a character study. I'm here for Richard Dreyfuss just doing wacky things, jumping through walls and stuff.
Yeah.
So Let It Ride. It is 3.3 overall on Letterboxd. 39 people have it in their 4 favorites. I'm assuming they're all gambling addicts. 27% agree with my 3-star rating. And I found a 3-star review by Kane Bumpers that I thought was pretty funny. I didn't catch all of the beginning, but I generally got what was happening. 3 stars. So Let It Ride. It's a fun, energetic 80s cocaine comedy, and I'm putting it on the staff recommendation shelf this week for the topic of luck.
I wonder if that's the same reviewer that missed the first half of April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
So 2 quick things about this, and I'm curious for your thoughts. One, I was unjustifiably skeptical of Richard Dreyfuss going into this and thinking, oh, it's a comedy, but it's not going to be that funny because it's Richard Dreyfuss. And
because he seems like he has too much dignity to play this.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's perfect for the part.
Yeah, he really is.
And made me laugh more than I expected
it's
to.
It's like a disheveled version of Richard Dreyfuss.
Yes.
Which you don't always get.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing that I could not stop thinking about was you and I are 2 guys who have gambled.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're not opposed to it. Horse racing is one of those betting opportunities that I couldn't be less interested in. Because there's and I know that with every type of gambling, there's certain things that are out of your control and just left up to chance. But there's just too much here that I am unwilling to just believe is going to work in my favor. There's 2 creatures involved. There's the jockey and the horse, and weather conditions, and I don't know. I know
what you mean, but also like you don't. But that's what gambling is, right?
Yeah,
you're just
I know.
picking stuff. I think the thing about horse racing is because there's so many options that it's easy to just get your fucking ass whooped to be like, oh, I picked like 3 horses in 3 races and they all finished like 18th or something. You know? Plus there's like different ways to bet. You can bet like first, second, third, and what, I don't know. And the way the money gets paid out and stuff. It's like, I've never done it. Maybe it's a lot of fun to do in person or something. I'm not really sure.
I've watched people on YouTube race marbles down a hill, and you know, there's like different paths for the marbles to go and stuff. That seems more appealing to me than horse racing, but you know, I guess we all have our game.
Horse racing is also one of those things that like I enjoy watching it, but I also like I'm open to the argument that maybe it doesn't need to exist anymore. Like I don't think those animals are treated well. It's basically for rich assholes. It's ways for them to like spend their money on dumb shit.
Wear hats.
Wear fun. Yeah, it's just like the whole thing. Like I'm okay if it goes away. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily need it in my life, but like to watch a horse race, it's a fun thing to watch.
Agree. Yeah. Well, you inspired me to switch up my order and go with a movie that I think follows yours fairly well with my second pick. And this is plucked from the "Oh, William, that haircut" section of the store. And this is from 2003. The movie is The Cooler. Back of the box. Bernie works at a Las Vegas casino where he uses his innate ability to bring about the misfortune in those around him to jinx gamblers into losing. His imposing boss, Shelley Caplow, is happy with the arrangement. But Bernie finds unexpected happiness when he begins dating attractive waitress Natalie. Tagline: when your life depends on losing, the last thing you need is Lady Luck. It's fine.
I think the haircut's called the Harry Dean Stanton, by the way.
I think it is. He might have worn it better. This is directed by Wayne Kramer. And it's kind of a melancholy, neon-lit fable about Las Vegas, specifically old Vegas. And
it's about old Vegas versus new Vegas.
Yes. Yeah. It happens to... It's primarily shot in a hotel in actual old Vegas, but I agree with you 100% that it's about the Vegas that was versus the Vegas that's on the horizon that we know of today. And so we're kind of right at that turning point when casinos are being, like old casinos are being torn down and replaced with these big, glamorous high rises.
I lived in I was a Las Vegan when this movie came out. So I remember this time very well. And this was right at the end of like when those old places were hanging on. You know? Like you had the Bellagio, you had the Wynn going up at that point. Just like the fancy hotels, but then you also still had some of the old ones like hanging on that were just like, oh, the Flamingo was still there, and like the Tropicana, and a couple of like some of them were still there, but like you could just tell that like that era was
something's
dead.
changing.
It had changed, you know, like that's what I mean. Like everything was like already changed, and so like the places that hadn't got the memo yet, just like there was that air of like, oh, they don't get it, you know, like that's not what they're trying to hold on, and it's just it's not going to work. And there was that vibe in the city back then.
Without knowing exactly when it happened, my hunch was that this was filmed right around the time that the Luxor opened, and that was that made it a lot of news because it was this extravagant new thing that arrived in Vegas, and certainly a sign of what was to come. But yeah. An interesting period for the city, for sure.
Yeah, it definitely was. Was.
So, William H. Macy kind of anchors this film. He has this very defeated performance. He plays Bernie, this guy who seems allergic to good fortune. He is in the role of a cooler at this hotel where his bad luck just spoils any good runs that gamblers are on. When he shows up at a table, everyone's luck runs out. And the casino owner relies on him for that. That's his job, which I find to be the weakest part of this movie. It's just ridiculous.
Well, I mean, the idea is like, oh, there's people winning over there. Go stand close to them. It's so stupid.
Turn that off.
But also like, I mean, if your casino is dependent on like nobody ever winning anything, then like you're not a very good business.
No, yeah.
And this is actually what the old Vegas versus new Vegas thing is all about.
Agree.
So I think that like in that sense, it stands in for like what that means, like because old Vegas is like we do things the old way, and like you gotta make sure you win.
Break some legs.
Whereas like nowadays it's like giant corporations are just get people to gamble as much as they can, and like we'll come out on top because we have the odds in our favor.
Yeah. And I also think that this, in spite of the premise of him being a cooler, being ridiculous, in spite of that, I do think that this kind of taps into that mythic side of Vegas, the belief that luck is the energy that this city feeds on. And that feels very connected to the Vegas of old more than the Vegas of new. But
we are selling that idea. Even in like the new Vegas.
Yes.
You know, they want people to think that like you can get lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. You know? Slots are loose.
All you got to do is play these slots that are like literally programmed to make sure that the house wins, 2% of every dollar.
Right. And, I think that probably ties into how this got made. So Wayne Kramer decided to write this movie based on his fascination with Vegas superstitions and this old school belief in coolers, that people would sit at tables and try to break up good runs. William H. Macy was the director's first and only choice for this. He has the right vibe for this type of character. Yeah. Surprisingly, Alec Baldwin got an Oscar nomination for this part. And
really?
Yeah, that took me aback because I don't know that his performance aged very well.
I mean, I didn't mind his. Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind it. I didn't pick it out and go like, "This is award winning."
Yes,
right. I liked him being on screen.
Yeah. This was shot extensively in downtown Vegas, and the hotel that it was primarily shot at is one of my favorites, the El Cortez.
Oh,
yeah. So why did I choose this? I'm not bringing this to. So luck is definitely present here. Perhaps it overcommits to the idea. Some suggesting that casinos treat luck as a resource, but. What I think this does exceptionally well is paint a vivid portrait of old Vegas, the city that existed before all of the polish and billion-dollar hotels that characterize it now. I think it's a love letter to a city that doesn't really exist in that way anymore. You can still find it in downtown Vegas, but not even not in the same way.
I'm gonna maybe surprise you here, because what we've been calling New Vegas, right, is this big corporate behemoth, right?
Yes,
it is like MGM and whatever the other fucking company.
It's F1 races.
Caesars, it's giant companies that have dominated the Las Vegas Strip and turned it into like this corporate nightmare. But I think that it's an improvement over the old Vegas.
Really?
Because the old Vegas was fucking dirty.
Seedy.
It was seedy, and it just means you see it in this movie. You see it in because the old Vegas and New Vegas thing is personified in Alec Baldwin versus Ron Livingston, right?
Yes.
And I think Ron Livingston is like very miscast here. Like he just doesn't
agree.
His character can't be babyface the way that Ron Livingston is.
Yeah,
and it just doesn't work. But that's the dynamic in this movie that I found like most interesting, I think, is like the fact that it was this idea of like New Vegas versus old Vegas. But the old Vegas is like there's a romantic aspect to this, like, oh yeah, Dean Martin and the Coolers and like the guy who runs the casino going around and being a tough guy and being like, get rid of these guys and yada yada. But like that's not the way. Like that's not a welcoming atmosphere for people. Do you know what I mean? Like it was worse before. As much as I hate the corporations and stuff, it was worse before.
Yeah, I'm not here to say you're wrong. In fact, you would know better than anyone. But in fact, I would even say a lot of the exchanges that take place between the customers on the floor, the gamblers, when I see it unfold, I think to myself, boy, if that was happening in a casino that I was at, I would immediately leave.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sure it wasn't even that uncommon. I'm sure it was actually kind of like that. But
because it's tough guys and people who think they're I don't know. It was a different vibe.
There is a romance at the heart of this story between Maria Bello's character and William H. Macy, and it's a little far-fetched to me that they would find each other, but I do think the real romance, in spite of how faulty it may be, is definitely between Alec Baldwin and the Vegas that he's always known and the one that is absolutely coming for him. And luck plays no role in that. It's happening. So this made not a lot of money. It was I think $10 million grossed on a pretty modest budget. It averages a 3.4, with a surprising number of users kind of citing Baldwin as the standout. I don't agree there. I have this at 3 stars, along with 29% of people.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot to like about it. The central love story was whatever. It's fine.
What I couldn't help but think is that you could tell a story about this Vegas, the Vegas that was. I have a hard time believing that there's a compelling story to be told about the Vegas that is today.
Right.
And I'm sure the Oceans movies are going to... I know there's another Oceans movie on the horizon, and they're probably going to try to do it, but...
Hopefully.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice. I think just because of this movie was shot, like it was very nostalgic for me. A lot of the stuff we see, even some of like the overhead shots of the strip and stuff, a lot of that stuff's just not there anymore.
Yeah.
Or there's just stuff on top of it or whatever.
I think few cities transform as quickly as Vegas did.
Oh yeah, no one does.
Yeah.
No one does it faster than Vegas.
Ebert gave this 3.5 stars. He said it was a movie about the romance of failure. I did pluck a 3.5-star review from Neil Shaughness, and he said saxophone level equals 1989 detective movie, which he's not wrong.
Yeah, I dig saxophone.
All right, that's my second pick, The Cooler.
Okay, I'm going to bring us up to 2017. The movie is Lucky.
Feels right on point for this theme. Yeah.
It's in the theme. It's filed under Turtle Power. Here's the back of the box. Follows the journey of a 90-year-old atheist and the quirky characters that inhabit his off-the-map desert town. He finds himself at the precipice of life, thrust into a journey of self-exploration. Not sure he's not necessarily an atheist.
No. Yeah.
I guess if you I don't know, parse out this movie enough, you can figure that out. But it's not what the movie's about.
When you read that, I was like, well, yeah, okay, I suppose. But...
Yeah, it's weird. I don't understand why it's on there. But anyway, there is no tagline for this movie.
That's fine.
Don't think it needs it. So this is about a couple of days in the life of Lucky, who is played by Harry Dean Stanton of the eponymous haircut,
yes.
Who lives a very scaled down life in this small town in the middle of nowhere. He's got the diner, the local bar, the doctor's office, the convenience store, and that's pretty much his whole world.
Which is great.
Yeah. Otherwise, he sits at home when he watches TV and smokes. Mm-hmm. And especially as a 90-year-old person, like that. Yeah, that's a pretty active lifestyle.
There are worse ways to live.
Yeah, I agree.
90th year.
Absolutely. We should all be so lucky.
Yeah.
He gets around great. Like he does exercises. Like he's a very active 90-year-old person. But that's pretty much the story of Lucky. Like he's old. We spend time with him being old.
Yes.
And he lives an idiosyncratic life in the middle of nowhere. And then he has a small health incident that sets him off on a bit of an existential crisis, and that's pretty much all that happens.
Accurate.
He got his nickname Lucky because he was a cook in the Navy, as opposed to, I guess, a soldier or someone who'd be more in the line of fire. That is what Harry Dean Stanton was in the Navy. He was a cook.
Oh, really?
So I don't know if Lucky was his nickname back then, but I have a feeling this is like basically
semi-biographical.
I don't know if that's the word I would use. I think this is kind of like an alternate version of Harry Dean Stanton.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think Lucky was an actor at any point or whatever. You know what I mean? But I think this is like, oh yeah, things could have gone this way for Harry Dean Stanton, and I kind of believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's not just lucky in the sense that he was a cook. Like he's lucky in the sense that like, I don't know, he's healthy for his age.
Yeah.
He smokes constantly, and the doctor's like, "Your lungs are fine." I don't get it. The doctor's just like, "Listen, like, you've lived this long, and you're in pretty good health. Like, I don't think like nothing's gonna get you except like being old, which
right.
you are.
Yeah,
I think even the doctor even says like, the older you get, the longer you're going to live, which is like a funny way to think about it. But like, he's like, listen, like if your lungs or whatever haven't failed yet, like you're just gonna die of old age one day.
Yeah.
So that's a lucky thing, I guess.
Yeah.
But I also think like over the course of these few days that we spend with him, he does kind of realize how lucky he is to be where he is. Like you can tell that like, his life probably didn't go the way that he wanted. He probably wouldn't have chosen to live in this place where he is, but like he's also lucky to be there in a way.
Agree. Yes.
I think this is an incredible performance by 90-year-old Harry Dean Stanton.
Yeah, it surprises me that he's that old, and he did a great job with this.
He died 2 weeks before this movie came out, so between the production and the release. But besides him, this is also just like a great old dude movie. Tom Skerritt is in it.
Also old.
Also old. yeah, he's not quite as old as Harry Dean Stanton, but he's up there.
It's wild.
Ed Begley Jr. David Lynch is amazing in this movie.
Yes.
Another weird Ron Livingston role. I think this one eventually did work for me.
Yeah.
But again, like, I don't know.
Better than the Cooler.
Something about Ron Livingston. Just got one of those faces that I think is hard to fit in places.
He was perfect for Office Space.
Yes.
But, boy.
And he's good in other stuff too, but like, yeah, like he was miscast in The Cooler. I don't know if he was miscast. I think I got used to him. You know, he has a couple of scenes, and by like his last appearance, I'm like, okay, like I'm okay with this guy.
Yeah.
You know?
He has a doofiness about him.
Yeah. And the mustache was like at first like weird, but then like eventually I was like, I think this guy would be wearing that mustache.
Yeah.
You know?
Probably.
So like, but like at first it is a little jarring for some reason.
Yeah.
But this is just kind of like an existential hangout movie about life and death and old age and tortoises, you know?
Yeah.
And I kind of loved it.
Yeah.
It's a coming of age movie for this 90-year-old man who just kind of like comes to grips with his mortality. He's realizing he's happy with what he has and like what he's surrounded himself with, even though he's like reluctant to be happy. And like one of the last shots of the movie is Harry Dean Stanton just breaks the fourth wall, looks right at camera and gives this smile, and then just kind of like walks away. And like I thought that was like one of the most incredible choices I've seen in a movie, like maybe ever.
It definitely caught me off guard, but I didn't hate it.
It was also, I thought it was like one of the most human things I've ever seen in a movie. It's just like he just breaks this character, or like maybe he wasn't breaking character, I guess, but like I don't know, he just kind of like gives this smile to like acknowledge like, hey, I was pretty lucky to be here, and then say goodbye, and then he dies before the movie comes out. You know what I mean? Like it was just so like it was very profound to me, and I was like, wow, like that is like one of those moments in a movie that you don't see very many of those, you know? Yeah. And like this guy had a career, man. Like
he did.
He you know, he started in the 50s after he got out of the war, I guess. But like, and like he was just, I mean, I didn't check his Letterboxd page. I bet he was in at least 100 movies.
Oh,
you know, like he was in so much stuff. And like to have that like goodbye at the end of your career, I just thought was like so awesome. So Lucky is at 3.9 overall on Letterboxd. 333 people have it in their 4 favorites, and 35% agree with my 4-star rating, including Jordan Searles, who wrote, David Lynch does a monologue about how much he loves and respects his tortoise, and I'm weeping. So I'm putting Lucky on the shelf this week for my last pick for the topic of luck.
I love that you called this a coming-of-age movie for an old guy, because we're so used to coming-of-age movies representing that period of transition from adolescence to adulthood, so to speak. Yeah. But it doesn't. That's not the only time where you're coming of age, and
it's like this guy just figured out he's old.
Yeah. I think that's a really poetic way to put it, and I'm waffling between 3 and 4 stars with this. I agree that it's a hangout movie, and definitely it has a vibe to it. I might have not been in the right frame of mind when I watched this, but I'm eager to see it again, and I could definitely see it cementing itself as a 4-star movie for me. There's a lot that this did that surprised me.
Yeah.
And you mentioned a lot of it.
And it's funny that David Lynch is in it too, because there is like it's not Lynchian necessarily, but there is there's a weird vibe to this movie a little bit, where it's like it's almost like it's like this mundane world, but there's a weirdness somewhere below the surface that maybe only exists because Harry Dean Stanton is so old or something, you know, like he has like a different view, you know what I mean? But yeah, there's just like I was not expecting this movie to hit me the way it did.
Yeah.
And I was really surprised by it.
Well, I agree this is not Lynchian, but once he shows up on screen, I couldn't help but to think about Straight Story, which is the least Lynchian movie that David Lynch himself did.
Yeah, it's similar.
It has a lot in common. Yeah. So. Well, fun pick. This was not on my radar at all, so glad I had a chance to watch it. I am going with my last pick to the Weed, Guns, and Dildos section of the store, and my final pick is from 1998. It is Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Back of the box here. A card shark and his unwillingly enlisted friends need to make a lot of cash quick after losing a sketchy poker match. To do this, they decide to pull a heist on a small-time gang who happen to be operating out of the flat next door. Tagline, a disgrace to criminals everywhere. Which had me scratching my head a little bit. Feels like it's trying too hard.
Sounds like it's describing a different movie.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So this is Guy Ritchie's directorial debut. And it's a movie that put him and much of this cast on the map. A lot of swagger here, humor, frenetic energy, and true to what Guy Ritchie went on to do with several later films. There's some interweaving storylines and a lot of sharp editing, propulsive soundtrack. We get an ensemble cast here that includes Jason Statham in an early role.
This is kind of like, this has introduced him to the world, right?
I think it did, yeah. He didn't have much experience. I don't know.
Guy Ritchie found him in a bar and was like, come be in a movie.
Yeah. It's certainly not your typical Jason Statham role. He's not in drinking retirement.
Yeah. He still looks like he's 50.
Drinking.
Yeah, even though he's 23 years old or whatever.
Yeah. We get Vinnie Jones in his breakout role as well. And yeah, a lot of what went on to become signature Guy Ritchie style here. So how does it fit the theme? Well, there's a lot in this movie that, again, could be, some might construe it as luck, but I actually think it's just a ton of coincidence time after time.
Yeah. Well, there's the card game that is definitely not luck because he's being cheated against.
That's why I plucked it, because it's the one time where luck should exist and it doesn't. Because the card game is set up and our main character is being spied on, so his hand is being telegraphed.
I don't even know what game they're playing.
No, neither do I.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know who's going to win. I don't know. I don't know what's a good hand or not a good hand or what's happening.
I don't either. And they don't run through the rules, but they run through just some of the parameters of the game at the very beginning. And I remember hearing it and just thinking, fucking British card game.
Yeah.
Certainly not Texas Hold'em. So yeah, the opening card game is a complete con. There's no randomness. There's no luck. There's no chance of winning. And then the chaos that follows isn't the result of lucky breaks or impossible coincidences. I think it's just the cascading fallout of one rigged moment where luck had no seat at the table.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's guys getting way in over their head.
Way in over their head, yeah. This was made for a modest $1.3 million. Yeah, Jason Statham and Vinnie Jones cast despite having almost no acting experience, but Ritchie just liked their presence and attitude.
He lost a fight to Jason Statham at a bar and was like, do you want to be in my movie?
I got something you can do. The style here definitely influenced by some British gangster films, even MTV aesthetics, a little bit of Scorsese's kind of rhythm.
Yeah. I mean, this was post Pulp Fiction, and
it was, yes, yeah. So it's wearing that on its sleeve a little bit too. We get Sting here. He briefly shows up.
I forgot he was in this.
But boy, the soundtrack for this, I think, maybe became more iconic than the movie itself. This is another one of those soundtracks that I think a lot of people had, whether they had seen the movie or not. Right. Kind of like Dazed and Confused.
Did it have lines of dialogue on the soundtrack?
Yes. So why did I choose this? This is peak Guy Ritchie. It's funny, stylish, absurd, but also quite cool. And, it's a movie that shouldn't work as well as it does. I think that these series of events on paper don't add up to anything coherent, but or believable. But the people that inhabit these parts and the way they talk to one another, it flows and it's fun and it's just an enjoyable ride. So I think that, not to mention the soundtrack, again, banger after banger.
Yeah.
It's something that I want to watch when this chaotic, fun vibe is what I'm after. It scratches that itch every time for me. It averages a 4.0 with a pretty passionate cult following. 4 stars is where I have it, along with 38% of other users, and 4,400 have this in their list of favorites. Where did you land on this?
I gave it 3 stars. I didn't like this as much as I remembered liking it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if maybe it just caught me on an off night or something. And maybe I had a hard time understanding what they were saying a lot more than...
I had subtitles on the entire time.
Yeah, I think maybe I should have done that. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't dislike it. But I remember this being one of those movies, right? This is the Tarantino influenced crime movies of the late 90s. And I remember this being this is one of the best. And I remember liking it a lot. And then maybe, like I said, maybe it caught me on an off night. Didn't quite work the way I was expecting it to on me.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that we think of as the cool parts of the movie, maybe just feels is he trying too hard here a little bit, or it's too obvious. And maybe I should just watch it again.
It's definitely a movie of a time, and that time is not this time that we're in.
I also think I like Snatch a lot more than I like this, and I remembered all the stuff I liked from Snatch and remembered it as this movie.
Gotcha,
Do you know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah.
I'm not really sure, but yeah, it just didn't quite work the way it did for me in 1998 or whatever.
Yeah. Roger Ebert called this a dizzying, visually inventive labyrinth. And I plucked a 3.5-star review by Issy, who came out right between the two of us. And she said, that final scene was more stressful than both the SpongeBob episode with the bus at night and the SpongeBob episode where they had to paint Krabs' house combined.
I guess that's true. I don't know.
So, she's definitely putting it in the context of stressful SpongeBob. Rob, I think it's safe to say that there's no luck involved with choosing movies that deserve our customers' attention.
If it was up to luck, would we be hitting 1,000?
We're just that good.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, there is a luck component to each of this week's selections. The 6 films that we chose are Final Destination Bloodlines, Edge of Tomorrow, Let It Ride, The Cooler, Lucky, and Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
If you don't have time to stop into the store, you can also visit us 24 hours a day at rewindvideopod.com. You can also find us on Letterboxd or Blue Sky, or send us an email at rewindvideopod@gmail.com. And if you like the show, please rate, review, subscribe, and recommend it to all of your friends who love movies or just like movies.
Yeah, that's fine too. Maybe they'll learn to love movies.
That's how it happens.
Yeah, that is how it happens. As we discussed during our last episode, the 2nd annual Rewindies is on the horizon, nearer and nearer every day.
Ooh.
But before we get there, there's another theme on the docket. Next time, we'll be tackling movies with that New York state of mind. Right?
Love it.
Yeah. We're going to the Big Apple with our next pick.
The Windy Apple.
Yeah. As always, we'll have 6 movies to recommend, but if you're looking for something in the meantime, don't hesitate to hit us up for a movie to watch. And that's it.
Be kind, recommend.
Yeah, we're just going to hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.